This is the new Ford Fiesta ST, and there's only one question we need to answer. Does it cock a wheel through corners? Why yes, yes it does. And with that vital piece of hot hatch research conducted, review over. Okay, I get it, you need more. Well look, here's the whole thing. The new Fiesta ST is based on the same underpinnings as the old one, but every aspect of it has been thoroughly overhauled. It's still front-wheel drive, still has a 6-speed manual gearbox, but now there's torque vectoring, there are switchable driving modes and adaptive dampers in a Fiesta as standard. And the engine? Well, that's lost a cylinder. The motor is a brand new 3-cylinder, 1.5 litre turbo. It's got 197 brake and 214 pounds-foot of torque, does 0 to 62 in 6.7 seconds and 144 miles an hour at the top end. Options include a proper mechanical limited slip differential and Sportier Recaro seats, both of which this car has. The gearbox will cope with flat shifting, it has launch control and claims to be lighter than before. There's some good stuff here. So to find out what it's like, we're going to answer some questions. Here we are, third gear, 30 miles an hour, like you would be if you're coming out of a village or something. 2,000 RPM on the clock and go. Oh, there's quite a bit of lag initially, but then it goes pretty well actually. Beyond 3,000, yeah, that's picking up quite nicely through the mid-range. Yeah, that feels all right actually. That feels all right. And you know, if you keep it above 3,000 RPM, response is much better, there's less lag. And the drivetrain, that's fine. I wouldn't say it's sensational, but the gear change is quick and snappy enough. But the flat shifting thing, it's a bit of a gimmick. Look, you can do it, foot down. But listen, the clutch takes it, but the revs flare. It just doesn't feel very mechanically sympathetic. I'd be worried about how long my clutch was going to last. Right. Let's get the phone plugged in and see how long it takes for Apple CarPlay to pop up. Oh, pretty quick actually. So there you go, got all your Apple CarPlay functionality. And if you go to the Ford bit, the graphics are good and the menus are simple, so you can actually use the system pretty well. And in fact, the whole car comes across as well thought out. The design's fine, it's nothing to write home about, but the quality's good. And do you know what? These seats are really snug and the driving position is spot on. As a daily driver, this is fine. I mean, look, there's even room in the back for your kids. We've had this car for 6 days and done 1,850 miles in it. The vast majority of them done by Ollie Q here. Ollie, where are the aches and pains?
Okay, I'll spare the intimate details, but mainly they are down here in the buttock region, and it's thanks to these wicked Recaro bucket seats. They're massively body holding. But the bolsters really pinch you around the sort of posterior area, and if you've been in the saddle for a couple of hours, it's slightly cutting off the blood flow. What's
refinement been like?
That's been really impressive compared to the old ST, which was a bit wearing on a long journey. This has not only improved on that, but has been more quiet and more calm on the motorway than the Honda Civic Type R support car that's been chasing us all the way down from Scotland. This is the car that people want to be in on the motorway.
Brilliant. Last one, what's it been doing to the gallon?
Now that's been boringly brilliant at that as well, because this 3-cylinder engine can deactivate to 2 cylinders when it's just cruising on the motorway. So 38 mpg over almost 2,000 miles I think is pretty stellar, but on the motorway, first going up from London to Glasgow, 45 mpg, which for a car this quick, I think you can't argue with that.
So there you go. If you want to drive a lap of the UK in the new Fiesta, you too can emerge looking as refreshed and relaxed as Ollie. Well, here's our supercar, and yes, we could have chosen something more suited to European roads maybe, but not much more powerful, and definitely not louder. This is a Hennessy Mustang, and its supercharged V8 develops 850 horsepower. This is what 850 horsepower sounds like. It is ballistically fast. But you know what? It has a chassis that can keep up. The Hennessy Mustang is based on the GT350R, which has been roundly praised for its handling. And this thing really does handle still. and it's got masses and masses of grip. It's got masses of grip because the front tyres are 305s, which is wider than most supercar manufacturers stick on the rears. So it really does grip, and it really does go. But it's also quite busy on the road. Those tyres tramline a lot. They get distracted by everything on the road, and there's a lot on the roads on Exmoor. So you're always busy in the car, and that makes it less relaxing. It also means the nose gets pulled around quite a bit. And yeah, 850 horsepower, you can't use all of it around here. You can't even use much of it, to be fair. So it is mighty, the Hennessy Mustang, but it's also quite fighty. Time for the Fiesta. So how does the Fiesta feel after the Mustang? Well, smaller and nimbler, less grippy, and slower. No surprise on any of that, really. But those are all things that make it really good on a British B road. Small, nimble, light, agile, all that good stuff. And you don't need masses of performance because you just can't use it. You don't want lots of grip because it's more entertaining to drive the car at more modest speeds. And the Fiesta's fun. It's got a really good flow to it. The ride's still got a bit of jiggle to it, like the old one. It doesn't feel quite as light and agile. It feels a bit more grown up, but it's got more capability, if you like. Around corners it builds a flow more easily. It holds an angle. It still rolls a bit, and that's not a bad thing. You might be surprised to learn there's no rev blip on the new Fiesta. I was quite surprised by that when it's got torque vectoring and limited slip diffs and all the rest of it. But it's good. That limited slip diff, when you get back on the power, really does tuck the nose a bit more. Are there any drawbacks? I'm not a massive fan of the steering. It feels a little bit stodgy, but the rack itself is quite sharp, so turn-in is quite precise. And the brakes do the job, but you could probably have a bit more bite at the top end. You can't choose the car's settings for the dampers and the exhaust noise and so on individually. You have to go through the button down here and cycle between normal, sport and track. But that button isn't very well sighted down there. It's hard to find when you're driving. It goes along the road with a good amount of enthusiasm, the Fiesta, but it doesn't quite have the same sharpness and liveliness as the old car, I don't think. But the trade-off is the balance it's got, the capability, the breadth of it has changed. That's improved a lot. So if you drove an old Fiesta and found it too pogo-y, too noisy, too rowdy, then this will probably be the car for you. But despite the drawbacks, and they are very minor, I really would rather drive this down a good B road than the Hennessy. I really would. It's got a lovely combination, this, of enough softness to give you a bit of roll and let you know the car's working, and then this differential, which is brilliant. I know it's optional, but you need to have it, you really do. It's great, this car. It's got enough of turn-in bite and everything. It just makes me want to keep driving. So that's what I'm going to do.